Bo down here at Ravens Keep. Last few weeks, month, I've been kind of looking at YouTube and some of the blacksmith and Facebook groups that I'm a part of, and I keep seeing people talk about wood-fired forges, positives and negatives. I started out learning how to smith in basically a hole in the ground, which is what I teach in my classes, just to kind of, you know, learn how to do it and try to get your taste of it and see if it's something that you really want to do. And I've kind of tried to help show people from time to time, you know, how my setup is, but I thought I would take this time just to kind of go through it kind of a little bit more in depth to see how I have it set up, to see if that maybe would be beneficial for someone. This kind of whole setup was kind of piecemealed, and my initial thought was to get up off the ground so I could actually stand up and do it versus humped over a hole in the ground the whole time. So as we kind of go through it, I'm going to talk about each individual piece and how I got it set up, and then I'll give you kind of a cost when I get done. If I just pulled numbers off of Amazon, I don't think it cost me that much to get it set up locally, but I figured I'd at least give you a good idea of what you're looking at. And then I thought what I'd do is actually fire the forge up, and we'll do a little bit of forging just so you can kind of see that it does get hot enough to do pretty much what you want. It does perfectly for everything that I want. So with that said, we'll start here. This is just a hand crank blower. Has a 2-inch exit point. I saw this I think I actually got it on eBay, but I saw one real similar to Amazon. I've had this for 6-7 years. It served me very well. It works well. It has a 2-inch exit, and then I've got a 6-inch 2-inch coupler, and then I have a reducer from 2-inch to 1-inch, and then this is a 1-inch. This is all black pipe, and this is a 1-inch pipe that's 24 inches that runs all the way to the exit through the forge, and then I've just got a cap on the end. Now on the inside of the forge itself, I've got it lined with a real particular product. It's called Carolina clay. Got it out of the backyard. So I've lined that, and then this is furnace cement that you can get at, you know, pretty much any hardware store. You can see it at Amazon or whatever. And I've just kind of lined it, and then I've drilled holes into the pipe itself to kind of give me a, you know, obviously get my air to it. It works really well for me. As you can tell, it's kind of crumbly, and it's, you know, it's seen some use. I've actually had to reline this over this past winter. There's a YouTube video on it. But this is how I've got my forge set up. It works really well for me. It does pretty much what I want it to do. You can get this hot enough to weld with. I save the charcoal after the fire, because you're basically making charcoal as you go. So it's not actually the fire, it's actually the coals that you're using, that I'm using to forge with. And I save my charcoal. I've got a little screen that I use to sift, and I'll save my charcoal in a bucket, so when I need a real hot fire and I need to do something extra, you know, I'll dump some of it in and give it a go. So that's kind of my setup in a nutshell, and we'll fire this thing up, and we'll beat some metal, and we'll see how we do. All right, so got a fire going. It's taken us about 20 minutes to get to this point to where I've got a nice little bed of coals. Figured I'd just use a 1/2-inch piece of rebar so you can kind of see. Because there's a lot of stuff. A lot of guys are much better at teaching how to actually do metal work than me, but I just kind of I want to apologize for the wind. Didn't start until we started this, of course. So as you can see, I've got a nice little bed of coals going in here. Like I said, we've been about 20 minutes into this. Got a 1/2-inch piece of rebar in. I'm using real expensive wood. It's pine. Where I live here in North Carolina, it's plentiful. It's laid down everywhere. People will let you come get it for nothing. So it's real economical for me as far as forge fuel. Let's see where we are with it. All right, so we're getting just a little bit of a red heat. I'm gonna put it in here and we'll kind of crank it up. We'll beat on it just a little bit. I think the hardest thing that people have with that I've experienced when people talking to me about it is managing your fires. don't have any experience whatsoever with coal or propane. I have only used this method, so I can't say how it works better, worse, whatever than any other method. I've only done this way, and it's always worked for me. So I'm happy with it. So let's see if we can get it cranked up and get some nice red heat going, and then we'll beat a little metal. So we got some nice little red heat. And as you can see, it works. So there is nice little red heat, right from wood, nothing fancy, works for me. Just kind of have to kind of keep managing your fire, pulling your coals in, moving your wood back. It might be a little tedious for some. I'm used to it, so I don't mind it. I don't really, full disclosure, know the difference. But as you can see, we're kind of making charcoal as we go, and that's what we're actually using the forge with. See the little pieces of charcoal here, and that'll settle into the bottom, and we've got coal. So that is it, kind of in a nutshell. I hope it helped somebody. I hope that maybe I can get some comments. One thing I forgot in the other segment was the cost. This whole setup, I priced it off of Amazon. You're looking at about $100. You could probably source it out, little bits and pieces, scrapyard. I'm sure you can find black pipe. I've seen it at my local scrapyard. So very inexpensive way to start. Very inexpensive way to keep it with the wood going. If the wind blows against you, well, there's that. You know, so you got a little smoke in your eyes. But, you know, hey, it's forging. Thanks for watching.